What if everything you were taught about money and was wrong? What if going to school, getting good grades, finding a secure job is not the path to financial freedom, but the path to financial dependence? In America today, millions of people earn good salaries, yet they live paycheck to paycheck. They upgrade their homes, they upgrade their cars, they upgrade their lifestyle, but they never upgrade their financial intelligence. And that's why they stay stuck. In this video, I'm going to break down the life-changing lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and explain why the rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. You'll learn why high income doesn't mean wealth, why your house might not be an asset, why most people are trapped in the rat race, and how to start building real financial freedom. This is not about getting rich overnight. This is about changing the way you think about money forever, because once you understand this, you will never see your paycheck the same way again. Let's begin. Part 1. Two fathers, two mindsets. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What if I told you that the biggest reason most people struggle with money has nothing to do with how much they earn? It has everything to do with what they were taught about money. This is the story of two fathers. One was highly educated. He had a PhD. He believed in job security. He believed in working hard, saving money and avoiding risk. He was respected in society. He had a stable career. This was the poor dad. The other father never finished high school. He built businesses. He invested in assets. He believed in financial education over academic education. He believed in ownership. He believed in taking calculated risks. This was the rich dad. Both fathers were intelligent. Both worked hard. Both wanted the best for their children. But their mindset about money was completely different. And that difference changed everything. The poor dad used to say, "Go to school, get good grades, and find a safe, secure job." He believed that job security was the key to financial stability. He valued promotions. He valued pensions. He valued steady income. But even with high education and a good salary, he constantly worried about money. He feared losing his job. He avoided risks. He believed investing was dangerous. On the other hand, the rich dad used to say, "Learn how money works." He didn't focus on job security. He focused on financial independence. He believed that the rich don't work for money and they make money work for them. That single idea that changed everything. As a child, the author had the opportunity to learn from both fathers. And very early in life, he realized something powerful. School teaches you how to work for money, but almost nobody teaches you how to create money. Nobody teaches you about assets. Nobody explains cash flow. Nobody shows you how taxes work in favor of business owners. Instead, we are trained to become employees. We are trained to trade time for money. The poor dad mindset says, "I need a safe job." The rich dad mindset says, "I need financial freedom." The poor dad worked for a paycheck. The rich dad built assets. And here's where the biggest lesson begins. Most people think they need more income, but what they really need is financial intelligence. Financial intelligence means understanding the difference between an asset and a liability. The rich dad explained it in the simplest way possible. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. Simple, but life-changing. Now think about this. Most people believe their house is an asset. But if that house requires mortgage payments, maintenance, property taxes, and doesn't generate income, is it really putting money in your pocket? Or is it taking money out? This is how the middle class gets trapped. They earn more money, then they upgrade their lifestyle. They buy bigger homes, better cars, more expensive things. Their income increases, but their expenses increase even faster. And suddenly, they are stuck. This is called the rat race. The poor dad believed in climbing the corporate ladder. The rich dad believed in owning the ladder. The poor dad said, "Work hard and you'll get promoted." The rich dad said, "Work hard and learn how to build your own system." The poor dad paid taxes first, then spent what was left. The rich dad structured income through businesses and investments to legally reduce taxes. The poor dad feared making mistakes. The rich dad believed mistakes were the best teachers. That's another powerful difference. Most people avoid financial risks because they fear failure. But the rich dad believed that failure is part of learning. If you are afraid of losing money, you will never learn how to manage money. And if you never learn how to manage money, money will always control you. The poor dad mindset focuses on security. The rich dad mindset focuses on opportunity. Security feels comfortable. Opportunity requires courage. Security keeps you safe. Opportunity makes you grow. The rich dad taught one more powerful lesson. He said, "The rich buy assets first. The poor and middle class buy liabilities that they think are assets. The wealthy focus on building cash flow producing assets, rental properties, businesses, stocks, investments, systems that generate income even when they are not working." Meanwhile, the average person focuses on looking rich. But looking rich and being rich are completely different things. Looking rich is about appearance. Being rich is about cash flow. Looking rich is temporary. Being rich is sustainable. The poor dad had a high income, but he didn't have financial freedom. The rich dad focused on building assets and eventually built freedom. And that is the core lesson of this book. It's not about working harder. It's not about earning more degrees. It's about changing the way you think about money. If you think like the poor dad, you will work for money your entire life. If you think like the rich dad, you will learn how to build assets that work for you. The real battle is not outside. It's inside your mindset. The moment you understand that money is a tool, not something to fear, not something to worship on, but something to control, your financial life begins to change. The book does not teach you how to get rich overnight. It teaches you how to think differently. And thinking differently is the first step toward financial freedom. Because once your mindset shifts, your decisions shift. Once your decisions shift, your habits shift. Once your habits shift, your financial future shifts. This is not just a story of two fathers. It is a story of two financial philosophies. One leads to lifelong dependence, the other leads to independence. And the choice is always yours. Part 2. The Rat Race. Why most people stay trapped. Now that we understand the difference between rich dad and poor dad, let's talk about the biggest trap that keeps people financially stuck. The rat race. This is where most people spend their entire lives, without even realizing it. The rat race begins with something very normal. A job. There is nothing wrong with having a job. But the problem starts when a job becomes your only plan. Here's how the cycle usually works. You go to school, you graduate, you get a job, you receive your first paycheck, you feel proud, you feel independent, you feel successful. Then slowly, life starts adding pressure. You need a car, you need an apartment, you need insurance, you need to pay bills. Then maybe you get married, maybe you have kids. Now your responsibilities grow, your expenses grow, your fear grows. Fear of losing your job, fear of not paying bills, fear of financial instability. And that fear controls your decisions. You wake up early, you work long hours, you wait for promotions, you hope for raises. But here's what really happens. When your income increases, your lifestyle increases too. You move into a bigger house, you buy a better car, you upgrade your phone, you spend more on entertainment. Your expenses rise to match your income, and suddenly, you are trapped. That is the rat race. You work for money. Money goes to expenses. Expenses force you to work more, and the cycle never ends. The rich dad explained something very powerful. He said, "The main reason people struggle financially is not low income. It is fear and greed. Fear makes people accept security over opportunity. Greed makes people spend more when they earn more. Fear says, I must keep this job no matter what. Greed says, now that I earn more, I deserve a better lifestyle." And between fear and greed, most people lose control. Let's talk about fear first. From childhood, we are taught to fear mistakes. We are taught that failure is bad. We are taught that risk is dangerous. So when it comes to money, people avoid learning about investing. They avoid starting businesses. They avoid trying something new because they are afraid of losing. But here's the truth. If you never risk losing money, you will never learn how to make money. Fear keeps people small. Now let's talk about greed. Greed is the desire to look successful, to feel successful, to show success. The moment people earn more, they increase spending. They buy status symbols. They try to impress others. But real wealth is not about impressing others. Real wealth is about control. Control over your time. Control over your choices. Control over your life. The middle class often gets trapped because they focus on income. They believe, if I earn more, my problems will disappear. But higher income without financial intelligence creates bigger problems. More income means higher taxes, higher expenses, more debt, more stress. Without financial education, more money only increases the size of the trap. The rich dad did not focus on earning more first. He focused on building assets. Assets create cash flow. Cash flow reduces dependence on a job. Reduced dependence reduces fear. And when fear reduces, confidence grows. Most employees work hard to make their company owners rich. Most people spend their lives building someone else's dream. The rich dad mindset asks a different question. Instead of asking, how can I get a raise? It asks, how can I build something I own? Ownership changes everything. When you own assets, you are not trapped by your employer. When you build cash flow, you are not controlled by bills. When you develop financial intelligence, you are not afraid of money anymore. The rat race is not about working hard. Many hardworking people are financially struggling. The rat race is about working without a financial plan, working without building assets, working without learning how money actually works. The biggest illusion in modern society is this: a high salary equals financial success. But many high-income professionals live paycheck to paycheck. Doctors, lawyers, corporate executives. They earn a lot, but they also spend a lot. And because their lifestyle is expensive, they cannot stop working. They are highly paid, but not financially free. That is the silent trap. The rich dad believed that true success is not measured by income. It is measured by how long you can survive without working. Ask yourself this question. If you stopped working today, how many months could you survive? If the answer is not even 1 month, you are financially dependent. That realization is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. The goal is not to quit your job tomorrow. The goal is to start building assets while you still have income. Use your job as a tool, not as a prison. Learn, save, invest, build slowly, step by step. Escape does not happen overnight. It happens through discipline, through education, through smart decisions repeated over time. The rich dad didn't teach hatred toward jobs. He taught independence from jobs. There is a difference. When you depend fully on your employer, you have limited power. When you build assets on the side and you gain options, options create freedom. Freedom reduces fear, and reduced fear allows you to think clearly. The rat race survives because people never question it. They believe, this is just how life works. But it doesn't have to. You can choose differently. You can decide to learn. You can decide to build. You can decide to think like the rich dad instead of the poor dad. The moment you stop chasing only paychecks and start chasing assets, your journey changes. The moment you stop increasing liabilities and start increasing cash flow, your future changes. The rat race is powerful, but it is not unbreakable. And the first step to escaping it is awareness. Now that you see the trap, the next step is learning how to build your way out. Part 3. Assets versus liabilities. If there is one lesson that can completely transform your financial life, it is this one: the difference between assets and liabilities. It sounds simple, But this simple idea is the reason why some people become wealthy and others stay stuck forever. The rich dad explained it in the most powerful and simple way possible. He said, "An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket." That's it. No complicated definitions, no financial jargon. Just one simple rule. Money in your pocket is an asset. Money out of your pocket is a liability. But here's the shocking truth. Most people don't know the difference, and because they don't know the difference, they spend their entire lives buying liabilities, thinking they are assets. Let's break this down slowly. Imagine you buy a car. Every month you pay car loan, insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs. Does that car put money in your pocket? No. It takes money out. That means it is a liability. Now imagine you buy a rental property. Every month after expenses, it generates positive cash flow. Money comes into your pocket. That is an asset. The difference is not emotional, it is financial. Now here's where the middle class gets trapped. They work hard, they get raises, they earn more, and then they buy bigger liabilities, a bigger house, a luxury car, expensive furniture, upgraded lifestyle. They believe they are becoming richer, but in reality, they are increasing their monthly obligations. More income, but even more expenses. That is not wealth, that is pressure. The rich dad said something powerful. The rich buy assets first. The poor and middle class buy liabilities they think are assets. Let's talk about houses. Many people believe their home is their biggest asset, and emotionally, it may feel that way. But financially, if your home is not generating income, if it requires mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs, then it is not putting money in your pocket. It is taking money out. That makes it a liability. Now this does not mean you should not buy a home. It means you must understand what it really is. Confusion creates financial blindness. Clarity creates financial control. The rich focus on building an asset column. They constantly ask, "Does this put money in my pocket?" If the answer is no, they think twice. Assets can be many things: rental real estate, dividend-paying stocks, businesses, royalties, intellectual property, digital products, investments that produce income. Notice the pattern. Assets generate cash flow. Cash flow builds freedom. Freedom reduces dependence on a paycheck. Now here is something very important. Income alone does not make you rich. Assets make you rich. You can earn $200,000 per year and still be financially stressed. But someone earning $50,000 per year with strong cash-flowing assets can be financially secure. Why? Because assets continue paying you, even when you sleep, even when you travel, even when you take a break. Liabilities never sleep. They keep demanding payments, every month, without excuse. This is why many high-income professionals are trapped. Doctors, lawyers, executives, they earn a lot, but they also spend a lot. Their lifestyle is expensive. Their liabilities are heavy. They cannot stop working. They are successful, but not free. Freedom comes from assets. Now let's talk about cash flow. Cash flow is simply the movement of money. Money coming in, money going out. Most people focus only on income, but smart investors focus on net cash flow. If your expenses are $5,000 per month and your assets generate $6,000 per month, you are financially free. Why? Because your assets cover your lifestyle. You don't have to work. Work becomes optional. That is real power. Now imagine the opposite. You earn $10,000 per month, but your expenses are $9,500. You look rich, but you are trapped. One missed paycheck, and everything collapses. That is financial vulnerability. The rich dad did not chase high income. He built asset systems, step by step, slowly, patiently, reinvesting profits, growing the asset column. And here is another mindset shift. Stop buying luxuries with earned income. Buy luxuries with asset income. Let your assets pay for your lifestyle, not your job. That is how the rich enjoy life without stress. Most people do the opposite. They reward themselves too early. They buy luxury first and build assets later. But later never comes. Discipline is the bridge between income and wealth. Without discipline, even high income disappears. The rich dad also taught about financial statements. He said, "If you want to be rich, learn to read financial statements. You don't need to be an accountant, but you must understand basic numbers: income, expenses, assets, liabilities. If you cannot understand your own financial picture, you cannot improve it. Clarity gives control. Control builds confidence. Confidence builds action. Action builds wealth." Let's imagine two people. Person A earns $5,000 per month, spends $4,800, saves $200, buys gadgets and upgrades lifestyle. Person B earns the same $5,000, spends $3,500, invests $1,500 into assets. After 5 years, Person A has memories and depreciating items. Person B has cash-flowing investments. Time rewards discipline. Money grows where it is planted. If you plant money into liabilities, it disappears. If you plant money into assets, it multiplies. The goal is simple. Build assets that pay for your liabilities. Once your assets cover your expenses, you win. Not because you are lucky, not because you are smarter, but because you understand the game. Most people were never taught this game. They were taught how to earn money, not how to keep it, not how to multiply it, not how to control it. The difference between rich and poor is not income, it is understanding. Once you understand assets and liabilities, you start seeing the world differently. You start asking better questions. You start making smarter decisions. And slowly, your financial life transforms. Because wealth is not built by accident, it is built by design. And the design starts with one simple rule. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out. Never forget that. Part 4. Financial intelligence. How the rich really build wealth. Now we move to the next level. Understanding assets is powerful, but building real wealth requires something more. Financial intelligence. The rich dad said something very important. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Most people focus only on earning, but the wealthy focus on strategy. Financial intelligence is made of 4 main skills: understanding accounting, understanding investing, understanding markets, understanding the law. Let's break this down simply. First, accounting. Accounting is not about becoming an accountant. It's about understanding numbers. If you don't understand income and expenses, then you cannot control them. If you don't understand assets and liabilities, you cannot grow them. Wealthy people read financial statements. They know exactly where money is flowing. They track cash flow. They measure performance. Because what gets measured gets improved. Second, investing. Poor people often say, investing is risky. But the truth is, not understanding investing is risky. The rich dad didn't gamble. He invested based on knowledge. He studied opportunities. He calculated risks. He learned before he earned. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. When you increase financial education, you reduce risk. Third, understanding markets. Markets move because of emotions: fear, greed, confidence, panic. When the market crashes, most people panic and sell. The rich often buy during fear. Why? Because they understand cycles. Every market has ups and downs. Opportunities hide inside problems. When others see crisis, the financially educated see opportunity. Fourth, understanding the law. This is where things become powerful. Employees earn money, then taxes are taken out, then they spend what's left. Business owners and investors do something different. They earn money through businesses. They use legal structures. They deduct expenses. They reinvest profits. Then they pay taxes on what remains. It's completely legal, but it requires knowledge. The rich dad didn't complain about taxes. He learned how the system works, and he played the game intelligently. This is something schools rarely teach. They teach you how to become an employee, but not how to think like an owner. The biggest difference between employees and business owners is leverage. Leverage means using other people's time, other people's money, and systems to grow faster. When you work a job, your income depends on your effort. When you own a business, income can come from the effort of a team. When you invest, money works for you. That is leverage. Leverage multiplies results. The wealthy don't work alone forever. They build systems, they build teams, they build networks. Another powerful lesson from the rich dad was this: don't work for money, work to learn. Many people choose jobs only for salary, but the rich dad encouraged choosing jobs for skills. Learn sales, learn communication, learn marketing, learn management, learn investing. Skills increase income potential. Skills increase confidence. Skills create independence. A person with strong skills is never truly broke, because they can always create value, and value creates income. The poor dad valued security. The rich dad valued growth. Security feels safe. Growth feels uncomfortable. But growth builds wealth. Most people avoid learning about money because it feels complicated, but ignorance is more expensive than education. If you don't learn how money works, you will spend your life working for it. Financial intelligence gives you options. Options reduce fear, and reduced fear allows better decisions. Another major difference between rich and poor mindset is how they see problems. Poor mindset says, "This is too risky." Rich mindset says, "How can I reduce the risk?" Poor mindset says, "I don't have money." Rich mindset says, "How can I raise money?" Poor mindset stops at obstacles. Rich mindset searches for solutions, and solutions build wealth. The rich dad believed in taking calculated risks, not reckless risks. Calculated risks. That means studying, learning, preparing, then acting. Most people wait for perfect conditions, but perfect conditions never come. Wealth is built by people who act intelligently despite uncertainty. Here's another important truth. Money alone does not create wealth. Financial intelligence creates wealth. If you give $1 million to someone without financial knowledge, they might lose it. But if you give strong financial education to someone with nothing, they can build wealth from zero. Because knowledge stays, money comes and goes. Knowledge creates money. The rich dad did not focus on working harder. He focused on becoming smarter financially. And that made all the difference. He built businesses. He invested in real estate. He created cash flow systems. He understood taxes. He understood debt. And here's something surprising. He didn't avoid debt completely. He used good debt to buy assets. There is bad debt and good debt. Bad debt buys liabilities. Good debt buys assets that generate income. Understanding this difference changes everything. Financial intelligence is like building muscles. The more you practice, the stronger you become. At first, it feels confusing. Then it becomes clear. Then it becomes natural. And eventually, it becomes powerful. The world is full of opportunities, but opportunities are invisible to the untrained eye. Once you build financial intelligence, you start seeing chances everywhere. A property others ignore, a business idea others doubt, an investment others fear. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be prepared, because in the end, wealth is not about luck. It is about understanding. Understanding money, understanding risk, understanding opportunity, understanding yourself. The rich dad mindset is not about being greedy. It is about being smart. It is about being proactive. It is about building freedom step by step. And when financial intelligence grows, confidence grows. When confidence grows, action becomes easier. And when action becomes consistent, wealth becomes possible. Part 5. Fear, Excuses. The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. Now we come to the most important battle. And this battle is not about money, it is about you. Because the biggest obstacle to wealth is not the economy, not the government, not your job. It is fear. Fear of losing money. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of being judged. Fear of failure. The rich dad believed that everyone feels fear, even wealthy people. The difference is, they don't let fear control their decisions. Most people say, "What if I lose money?" But they never ask, "What if I never try?" Not trying is the biggest loss because opportunity does not wait forever. Another powerful enemy is doubt. People doubt themselves. I'm not smart enough. I don't know enough. I don't have enough money. These thoughts destroy action. And without action, nothing changes. The rich dad understood something important. You don't need to know everything to start. You just need to start learning. Small steps, small investments, small experiments, learning by doing. That's how confidence grows. Then comes another enemy, laziness. But not the obvious laziness, the hidden laziness, being busy. People say, "I'm too busy to invest. I'm too busy to learn. I'm too busy to build something." But they are never too busy to watch TV, never too busy to scroll social media, never too busy to complain. Being busy is often an excuse to avoid growth. Another powerful enemy is bad habits, spending before saving, upgrading lifestyle before building assets, buying things to impress others. True wealth requires discipline. Discipline to invest first. Discipline to delay pleasure. Discipline to think long-term. Then comes arrogance. Some people think, "I already know this." But knowledge without action is useless. And success requires humility. The willingness to learn. The willingness to admit mistakes. The willingness to grow. The rich dad believed that excuses are expensive. Every excuse costs opportunity. Every delay costs growth. Now let's talk about the blueprint. How do you actually escape the rat race? Step 1. Change your mindset. Stop working only for income. Start working to build assets. Step 2. Track your money. Know your income. Know your expenses. Know your cash flow. Clarity gives power. Step 3. Start small. You don't need millions. Start investing small amounts. Start learning about assets. Start building slowly. Step 4. Focus on increasing financial intelligence. Read books, listen to podcasts, study markets, talk to experienced people. Knowledge reduces fear. Step 5. Build assets consistently. Real estate, stocks, business, digital products, whatever fits your situation. Step 6. Reinvest profits. Let your assets grow. Let money compound. Compounding is powerful. Small, consistent action becomes massive over time. Step 7. Let assets pay for luxuries. Don't reward yourself too early. Let your investments buy your lifestyle, not your salary. And finally, be patient. Wealth is not built in 1 year. It is built through habits, through discipline, through long-term thinking. The rich dad mindset is not about becoming rich fast. It is about becoming financially free. Freedom means choices. Choice to work, choice to rest, choice to travel, choice to spend time with family, choice to say no. And here's the most important truth. Financial freedom is possible, not only for the super talented, not only for the lucky, but for those who are willing to learn, willing to think differently, willing to act differently. The difference between rich dad and poor dad was not education. It was mindset. One focused on security. The other focused on freedom. One worked for money. The other made money work for him. And now the question is simple. Which mindset will you choose? Because at the end of the day, your financial future is shaped by your financial decisions. And your financial decisions are shaped by your financial beliefs. Change your beliefs. Change your habits. Change your future. The rat race is real, but it is not permanent. Assets create freedom. Financial intelligence creates power. Action creates results, and the journey begins the moment you decide to think like the rich dad. So now you have a choice. You can continue living the way most people do, working for money, waiting for promotions, hoping one day things will change, or you can start thinking differently, start building assets, start increasing your financial intelligence, start creating freedom. Because the truth is, financial freedom is not about luck, it's about education, it's about discipline, and it's about making decisions today that your future self will thank you for. If this video changed the way you think about money, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And if you want more powerful book breakdowns that help you grow financially and mentally, make sure you subscribe. Because the more you learn, the more you earn. And remember, the rich don't work for money. They build systems that make money work for them. I'll see you in the next video.